Peace, 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 peace. You know who it is. Let me wipe this camera. I just want to come on here. Peace and love to all. I just want to come on here briefly and talk to you about what's going on, the things that I'm currently launching, as well as some others that are involved. You know what I'm saying? Certain things you just got to keep hitting because, you know, it's getting real good out here. But anywho, these are some of the designs that I mocked up and created. And there are more coming when it comes to a lot of things. Let me make this brighter. A lot of things are going to be centered around mental health, as you can see here with men. And there's going to be other things on the Etsy store website as well that pertains to a lot of empowerment from both men and women, and with the partners and people that I'm connecting with as well. A lot of things coming to center around a lot of mental health things, a lot of affirming, reaffirming, healing. One of the ones I created here, and the reason I speak about a lot of these things, first let's give an honor to Source, to the Creator. You know, will make all these things possible, ancestors known and unknown. You know, clap it up for yourself. I always put that in there. But, you know, a lot of these things that I'm focusing on from my world, from my worldview, from my perspective, is having a lot to do with empowering like the men that look like me and so forth. You know, that is going to be the oneness of all, which connects a lot of things. You know, oops. I always be touching this thing, but yeah, I just use a touch screen. So yeah, other ideas, again, going back to like the oneness of all. This design I like because I came up with the you plus me minus haters equals unity. You know, just for jokes, but it's very important that, you know, we realize like this one is like we're all seeking a love or trying to seek out the things that are similar. And in reality, like when you look at it, you know, it doesn't matter outside of color. It's bigger than that. You know, it's the message. It's the vibe. It's the, you know, emotion. It's all the things that, from a higher perspective, the bigger picture, what really unifies us all. And you know, again here, you know, our mental health matters too. The reason why you see a lot of things pertaining to, you know, darker shade is because, again, in my world, there were things that I did not see that empower men such as myself. So my focus is to pinpoint that. Now, all mental health matters when it comes to everyone. This is just something that I am, you know, I just love creating and being called to. And, you know, again, you can see the little boys and men of different hair, different shades and so forth. And, you know, the beauty of this is like anyone can wear this. And because it's like, again, it's empowering everyone, but it's also seeing the importance in how our mental health matters too. Again, there is in a society, or has been, things in place where this pushes a narrative where, you know, from my own experience, where there hasn't been anything in place that focuses on the mental health of men, especially. You know, because again, being in environments in societal norms where, you know, as we try to express ourselves as men, it's been pushed down or pushed away from the experience we have, from the pain we have endured from wounded women, no matter the culture and creed. But most importantly, you know, this message is to empower, you know, to push that narrative, to focus more on the mental well-being, the emotional well-being, the spiritual well-being, and the physical well-being. More things I have off to the side. So for the beautiful women who are pregnant or becoming mothers, again, this is also a message of things that I'm going to get into. This is just drafts and stuff that I'm putting to the side. But again, as I scroll down, these are things that are coming along as well. Empowering women, you know, I created this as well with the affirmations for women who are like mothers to be or will become a mother. And you can, share this with, this probably would be on shirts and other products as well. Again, to push the message of, empowerment around pregnancy. I've even experienced or seen women, had the experience with my partner and, our child, just to see the atmosphere that's created around so much fear, so much confusion, so much devaluing of how much, or, disempowerment of even how much a woman should rely on herself, and how her and the baby, the oneness of it, and how even the importance of the father, the mental well-being, her state, what being she's in. I mean, her well-being emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and then seeing the medical aspect of it, and now approaching it in a holistic way where this message is pushed. As you can see, I scroll down some more. It's like the empowerment. When you're seeing flowers, when you're seeing, I added these flowers to the words, and these affirmations of saying like, my baby is safe and loved. Like, there has been nothing that has pushed this narrative for women to be empowered through their pregnancy, through their transition or progression, transformative aspect, because she's going through so much emotionally, mentally, and so forth. And it's not to say it's going to be perfect. It's to say that you have a reminder that you can get through this. You have a reminder that, whether you want to have it on a shirt, a mug, something that you receive this visually to empower you through your pregnancy, to empower you through a lot of things. Because from my experience in hearing stories from women who have endured so much trauma during the pregnancy, and that pain or those things that are induced during the pregnancy, that child picks up on. So it's important that when you see these affirmations that, my baby knows all is well, you trusting your body to know what to do, even when that moment comes, because there isn't a lot of a message pushed to women that there has been so much emphasis on keeping them away from really trusting their intuition, their inner guidance, their own body, let alone pushing the narrative that it's their body to begin with. It doesn't belong to the state or to the government or to someone else. That whole concept, and even that message alone, where women have this fear, or just because of what their mother, the projections on what their mother has told them, what their grandma and all of them, have been going through, and now seeing it in a holistic approach. And you're probably going to see a lot of women now turning towards a holistic pregnancy or a natural birthing. And, this is a message to that. And so we're going to keep going, where, again, I have more affirmations that I've created. I know some people are going to wonder, like, oh my gosh, who created it? Did a woman do that? No, I did this. Like, I was called because of seeing what my partner went through, hearing stories what other women went through, even my own mother, her pain and what she endured in the hospitals. There are countless women that haven't never really spoke about their experiences and how traumatic it is, even years later, even after having a child, that they never had these conversations. So again, affirmations, putting women of different colors and creeds on here, and reminding them, that you got this. You welcome your baby with love. Your baby and I are healthy. And again, from experience of seeing people in different cultures, there isn't this message or narrative push for them to bring a child in a more healthy, in more of a higher frequency, rather than through trauma and experience, through trauma and pain. Even having it on their backs, even being induced with, injected with, what you call that, epidural, which if you research and go online, ladies, or whomever want to research it, there's so many drugs and certain things in there. And then let alone the effects they have. I even have a sister that told me about what happened to her, who it has so many effects, on her body, to where these things create so much in the body, after these shots years later, that affects women's body for the long haul. And they never recover from some type of C-sections. You know, those things are pushed on them to where they're not told to really affirm to themselves that they are healthy, that they'll get through this and so forth. It's automatically, there's an emphasis on high risk. And we're changing this narrative. And then we got, again, my partner created this affirmation for women, this books. And you can find this book is coming soon on the website or on the Etsy store, Give Back to Our Roots. Again, I believe from what she said, it's going to be, it says a coloring book. Yeah. So, yeah, that's going to come real soon. So look forward to that. Also here, also a message of breastfeeding. I created this as well, where you see the empowerment around breastfeeding. I've heard stories, you know, about women who, I actually met a woman years ago who told me about how she had triplets. And she actually was suing the hospital behind her story because they immediately gave her daughter, because she had 3 girls, I believe, like gave her daughter that milk. And a lot of women know this, like gave her that milk that, you know, rather than breastfeeding her, you know, gave her some type of milk or something, and her baby transitioned. Her baby died from it. And so she was suing, and I don't know, I haven't heard from her in a while, but, you know, suing the hospital because of over pain and suffering or just the experience from that. And so this is what I came up with to create around, again, affirmations around breastfeeding, because a lot of women that I know, especially what I grew up with, a lot of women don't know the significance of how important it is and the nutrients and things that, like, everything is in that breast milk. This is from even my daughter being breastfed by her mother, you know, seeing how healthy she was and so forth. And again, this isn't something that hasn't always been there before. It's just how when, you know, the medical, and this is from experience of learning from rest in peace. Now, I just trust I say her name correctly. Rest in power, Nana City. She, I shared this in my community center. We had the honor to be in her presence before she transitioned, but you know, her message of just having women and have met women and have so many natural births and pushing that that narrative of women doing it that way. And even she was a midwife, and she told us why she didn't use the name doula, because of where it deprived from. Now, you can do your own research on that, but she did not use that term. But again, she specifically told us before Aaliyah came, like, you know, she does things the holistic way. And that meaning that, you know, if holistic and medical is not the same, when you're dealing with the hospital, it's not the same, which most people don't realize. Like, our women have been so much in this trauma state or so much in this loop of feeling like they have to look for a savior or look for a doctor or something. You know, and like I said, I don't know all experiences and to speak on everyone else's experience. I just know based off who I met personally and the experience from myself and actually seeing a woman give birth naturally without being induced with epidural and so forth. So that right there says a lot in itself. And so with that, again, you know, seeing my mother go through those things. Oh, let me plug this computer up. Please don't. I just realized that. I'm over here making this video. I'm glad I looked at that. Okay, perfect. Woo, it John was about to turn on. So yeah, just hearing the stories from that and talking about it now, again, Nana City was telling us, like, you know, you can go through the medical way, the holistic way. And, you know, the beauty of that is just hearing her stories about how many women she helped, how many women she guided, and even teaching others. And I probably I got to look through my community to share, you know, her messages and so forth, because again, there has been a history of these things. When you're talking about, when it comes to healing, we have to recognize the pain. And way before, you know, I remember a trip we took to a museum in Ohio, and they had this statue of a mother breastfeeding. I didn't ever see nothing like that in my life. But we, again, societally, we have been so far from the fact of things being in a natural order. Things haven't been in a natural order. This is why things are returning to what they were. The balancing of things, where women actually can breastfeed their kids, where women can actually have natural and holistic births. There's always been an attack on things as such, but now things are being returned to for women to choose to rise into their power, to choose their bodies and so forth. This is what you see, what the powers that were focused on. So now, again, just learning from those experiences and seeing those people and hearing some of these women's stories about what they went through, again, it changed my whole perspective on life and how I approach it and what I stand for. So and when you're standing in integrity, you cannot have fear about, the fact of like what could possibly happen. There's a higher power at play here. And so with this, again, it says breastfeeding my baby is an honor and privilege. Again, I don't even know if my mom fed me. But just hearing that story from the sister that said what happened to her baby, this has probably happened to a lot of women who don't realize the birth effects, or the effects of even them having a recall on milk in itself. That's not even natural milk. The metals and all that stuff. I can go in so many details. So me putting this here is, again, you seeing the, different cultures and creeds and so forth, the representation of how important it is, as I'm proud to breastfeed and refuse to be ashamed of it, and a lot of our people, from what I grew up in and from my experience, I haven't seen this. I didn't even know that was a thing. You're talking about people feeding their children freaking cow milk. You do not even come from a cow. A calf drinks off his mother's milk. So even the mental illness in that. Let's continue. So again, I have more stuff that's coming along that's going, again, to empower and restore that which was normal. Again, the effects of the matriarchal before gave the dysfunction or gave over to what you see now playing out patriarchally. And that, again, the dysfunction. Somebody had to continue it. Again, the woundedness that came from the matriarchal, I endured to reenact that dysfunction or that woundedness from the patriarchal aspect. And for those that don't know, matriarchal being mama, grandmother, great-grandmother, and so forth, starting with the daughter, these are cycles. Same thing with the patriarchal, the son, the father, grandfather, and so forth. It continues. So we both and everybody has been affected by this through the cycles. Again, things are returning back to which it was. And again, these are just drives to where, again, empowerment through breastfeeding, messages, seeing the beauty in which was you as women felt like has been stripped away, but this is what's being returned. So I just want to bring that to your awareness that there is the beauty of healing coming. And some of us are looking, but, a lot of things are here right now. It's just some of us had to go through our journey to see these things and bring more awareness to it, to create a world of empowerment. And if you look at the old world before, it was a world of, stripping the powers of humanity, of people, and so forth. And so that's what's being restored within us spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and so forth, so that we continue this generationally. So that's kind of all I have right now, and there's more to come. So you take care of yourselves, and remember that it's you. We all are playing a role. We all are actors in this grand scheme of things. Play the best role that you know how. You are the main character in your life. Take care of you. I love you. Peace and blessings. Shalom.